O Father, forgive me my trespasses. Your mercy is boundless, and I thank you for your everlasting grace.
When the ego becomes God, self becomes the highest authority. Desire replaces discernment. Impulse replaces wisdom. The flesh is no longer a vessel or a stewarded gift, but a throne, one that constantly demands affirmation, pleasure, defense, and control. This is why so much of modern life feels loud, reactive, and hollow at the same time. The ego is never satisfied. The flesh is never finished wanting. When people idolize the self, they begin to interpret every discomfort as injustice, every boundary as oppression, every correction as an attack. Truth becomes negotiable. Discipline becomes violence. Humility becomes weakness. And reverence, especially reverence for something higher than the self, becomes intolerable. What's tragic isn't that people have bodies or identities. It's that many have stopped governing them. Ancient wisdom across traditions warned of this exact thing. When appetite rules, the soul shrinks. True spiritual life doesn't despise the body, but it refuses to worship it. It doesn't erase the self, but it puts the self in right order. The hardest work is not believing in something higher. It's stepping down from the altar and letting something higher speak. There's a distinct difference between honor and worship that many misunderstand. It's fine to honor your cell, body, and feelings, but not be ran by them. Honor and worship are often confused because both involve reverence, but they move in entirely different directions. Honor recognizes value. Worship surrenders authority. Honor says, I acknowledge what is good, worthy, or admirable here. Worship says, this is my source, my center, my ultimate allegiance. You can honor without losing yourself. You cannot worship without yielding yourself. Honor has boundaries. It is measured, discerning, relational. You can honor parents, elders, teachers, leaders, even the body itself, without obeying them blindly or orienting your life around them. Worship has totality. It reorganizes the inner world. What you worship defines, what you revere the most, what you protect at all costs, what you sacrifice for what you justify. Even what you fear most can turn into an object of worship. This is why the line matters. When people honor the body, they care for it, discipline it, steward it. When they worship the body, they obey every craving and defend every impulse. When people honor the self, they take responsibility and cultivate integrity. When they worship the ego, they become unable to be corrected. Honor keeps things in right order. Worship declares something ultimate. The danger isn't admiration, it's misplacement. Many don't bow in temples, but they structure their entire lives around appetite, image, validation, and self-protection. That is worship, even if no sacred language is used. True reverence doesn't inflate the self. It humbles it, so it can finally stand upright. Worship isn't only what you praise, it's what you orient your life around. Fear and worry become objects of worship when they quietly take the place of trust, authority, and direction. Here's how that happens. What you fear governs your decisions. If your choices are primarily shaped by avoiding loss, rejection, pain, or uncertainty, then fear has moved from emotion to master. You may not love it, but you obey it. Obedience is a form of worship. What you worry about occupies your attention. Attention is devotion in seed form. When the mind rehearses the same anxieties over and over, it is meditating, just not on truth or wisdom, but on threat. Whatever receives your mental rehearsal is being enthroned. What you fear defines your sacrifices. People sacrifice honesty to avoid conflict. They sacrifice calling to gain security. They sacrifice peace to maintain control. Sacrifice reveals worship more clearly than words ever could. What you fear shapes your identity. When fear is central, people begin to say, I'm just an anxious person. I can't do that. That's just how the world is. At that point, fear isn't something they experience. It's something they live from. That's devotion. Fear promises false protection. Worry whispers, if you think about this enough, you'll stay safe. That's the lie. Fear pretends to be wisdom, but never produces clarity, only exhaustion. In ancient spiritual language, worship meant trusting a power to order reality. When fear is trusted more than truth, it becomes the functional god. even if it's hated. This is why peace isn't passivity. It's rebellion against false authority. To release fear from the throne doesn't mean ignoring danger. It means refusing to give fear ultimate say. You can acknowledge threats. You can prepare wisely, but you do not kneel. Whatever you kneel to, you become like. God is meant to occupy that highest place because only something greater than the self, the body, and circumstance can rightly bear ultimate trust.